Bosch is a very environmentally friendly and aware company and have their own environmental policy. There aren't many businesses who do that, so I think part of my role is to try and educate customers, make them aware perhaps of the environmental considerations, particularly with heating and hot water, because the benefits are clear. You warm and you hot water, etc., but I'm afraid that comes at a cost a lot of the time to the environment, regrettably. So we're trying to create products which reduce or eliminate that issue, and solar water heating and ground source heat pumps, etc., do that sort of thing. So yeah, I think our role as a marketing department, product creating department, etc., is essential in educating the customers, making them aware that there are environmentally ways of doing this necessary evil of heating and your hot water in your house.
More and more in the news today, we're getting the green agenda, particularly from the government. And he recently launched a whole series of initiatives to combat climate change, carbon reduction, energy costs, security of supply. And actually what we do here at Worcester Bosch is make the products that actually can fit that bill. We're not actually the problem, we're the solution. We make equipment that actually produces low carbon technologies and in fact can reduce energy costs as well.
The company has always prided itself on seeing the installer as the key relation in the supply chain for heating products. So for many, many years we've focused all of our attention on a pull-through strategy, on supporting the installer and getting the installer to recommend our products and then recommend and install them and sell them to the consumer. In terms of other relationships, we see our role here in the local community as a very important part of our activity. We are one of the largest private employers now in Worcester and therefore do an awful lot of work in the local community.
I think the government has an obsession with electricity. They think it's all about big shiny new things. They think it's all about nuclear, clean coal, carbon capture and storage, which hits the headlines and there's massive investment in that. But for the 26 million householders, what they worry about is actually heating and hot water. That's where 70% of their their energy costs come from heating and hot water. So therefore, I think the obsession with big shiny new things, it needs to move away and actually just look at the individual householder and what they can do. And I think I wouldn't say we need to abolish the big things, but we should also take into account the small things as well, because 26 million small things makes a big difference actually.
Our research with installers, and it's very comprehensive this, we research several thousand installers and end users annually. And the product is an important part of why they use Worcester, but they're also very enthusiastic and reassured that there is support here. Be that technical support on the end of a telephone if they're in front of a boiler and it's not working, or they're undecided on what they should specify perhaps in somebody's house. And the end user is particularly reassured that there is a service support team here to help them should the product fail when under warranty, or for extended service contracts after the warranty period. So we have over 300 service engineers directly employed by ourselves as well, spread nationwide. We have 35 technical services engineers. These are people on the telephones answering inquiries from end users and installers. And we have a contact centre here with about 70 people in there in total, and based in the UK, which again can be reassuring for a lot of consumers. So we can support in all ways and pretty well at all hours as well. I see Worcester as being in a very strong position today. We have a very strong market position. We're number one certainly in boiler sales. We're number one in solar water heating sales as well. But we've got our feet firmly on the ground. We don't take anything for granted. We know what we have to do. We have to be competitive in all areas and get more aware of consumers' requirements and the growing installer needs as well. And we intend to deliver on this.
So the future beyond 2011 and for the recovery is obviously an interesting one as we start to see significant uptake of new technologies and renewable technologies. And really this is a fascinating time in our industry as we move forward into that era and we become less reliant on our core product range of domestic and commercial boilers and really move into new, exciting and renewable type technologies. And we see that as a real challenge, but equally a real opportunity and one we're relishing for the future.